Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and a licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I'm a network engineer,
And together we're Tabletop Coffee.
where we are bold and never bitter.
And tonight we're continuing with some marriage tips,
Yeah.
talking about the stress-reducing conversation. Stay tuned, and we'll talk about it. You know, I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while about the stress-reducing conversation.
Right.
Because we've talked about it a lot.
We do.
Couples are supposed to spend how much time together per week?
5.5 hours.
The magic 5.5 hours.
Yeah,
And Keith will
that's
put
right.
that video up
Yes,
there.
I will. Right here.
And you're supposed to spend about how much time per day?
About 20 to 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, there you go. 20 to 30 minutes a day, just kind of debriefing your day and talking about your day. And, you know, my fear button's being pushed in this moment because I'm afraid that this video is going to come out as chintzy and low power and just, you know, is filling air, filling space.
Yeah, but I don't think it will, because there's so many people who need to know the process. What's the best way to fill that time and have that conversation?
Yeah. So there are some tips that we're going to give you that we're taking directly from the Gottman's website
Right.
about how to, and this is really simple. And John Gottman's really great at talking about this.
Yeah.
He says the things we teach people are so simple.
Right.
Not easy, but they're simple.
Right.
And you've got to have that stress-reducing conversation every day. Like, I'll go home tonight,
Right.
and I'll tell Kim kind of how my day unfolded, and she'll tell me how her day unfolded. And
Right.
neither one of them is, you know, earth-shaking at all. But it's important that she catches up on how my day went, and then I kind of get caught up on how her day went.
Right.
Talking about the triumphs, you know, or the things that were difficult, or most of it's just mundane things to be able to talk about
Right.
with the other person.
Yeah. But it builds the relationship.
It does.
I mean, it allows someone in. And I think that's what relationship is really all about, is allowing somebody in and seeing the good and the bad, and that's when you share that time with them.
Yeah, it is. And I find that many of the couples that I work with have zero time together to do this sometimes, or
Okay.
maybe 5 minutes. Some might have 10 or 15.
Right.
But very few couples spend the 20 to 30 minutes per day just having this stress-reducing conversation.
Yeah, well, it's important.
Yeah, so let's talk about the ingredients of it. Number one, agree on timing. Like when you get home, do you want to do it right away, or do you want to do it later? How do you guys do it?
Well, when I would be at the office and I would come home, which I work out of the house right now and will probably continue that for the rest of my time. But when I would be at the office and I would come home, I would be so wiped out. That was the worst time for me to have that conversation. And Lisa completely understood that. Unless something major happened with her day that she needed to share with me, she knew I needed to have 20 minutes or so of downtime, not in front of a computer, not in front of a TV, sitting on the couch, reading a book, or just closing my eyes just to break free. And then we would talk after that, or we would talk while we're having dinner and then after dinner.
Yeah, so I think it depends upon the couple.
Right.
Sometimes couples might want to do it right away. Sometimes they might want to do it after dinner. Sometimes they might want to do it while they're, getting ready to fall asleep. So it doesn't really matter when you do it,
Right.
just so you do it. And I think it may have to change from time to time. But I think it's good to have a conversation about when to have the conversation.
Yeah, I'd be afraid to do it right before I go to sleep. I'd be afraid I would nod off and then
I'd be
really
snoring.
upset Lisa.
Number two, dedicate, your presence for about 20 to 30 minutes. And this can be difficult too, because there
Right.
are other things that compete for presence.
Turn off the cell phone.
Yeah.
Just completely throw it on silent. Don't even put it in the same room that you're in. I think that's a good way to handle
Well, it
that.
depends.
Okay.
It depends on the couple. Some
Okay.
couples, electronic interruptions are not an issue for them.
Okay.
So you don't need to make it an issue. But for some couples, they need to have some very specific rules that laid down about how they want to deal with electronics.
Right.
The other thing is, what are you going to do with your children during
Oh,
that time if you have
Right.
kids?
Sure.
Are they going to be running in and out? Are you okay with that?
Right.
Or do they need to go in and watch a show for 20 or 30 minutes?
Right.
Or how are you going to deal with children, and how are you going to deal with other distractions?
Yeah, I think that's, oh man, when we had young kids, it's definitely, I mean, that's tough when you have really young kids, but you can always try and find that time to set aside and get the kids in a different room.
Yeah. Number 3, don't discuss your relationship. This is not a time
Right.
to talk about
Yeah, something that's going wrong in the
Yeah,
relationship.
don't try to solve a problem
Okay.
in your relationship. It's
Sure.
simply to talk about something in the other person's day.
Okay, that's simple enough.
Yeah. And number 4, all emotions are welcome. If the other person wants to talk about being angry, let them talk about the anger that they felt during the day, or
Sure.
the excitement during the day, or the
Yeah.
fear during the day. And my job is to simply, the big V word, right? Validate
Right.
the other
Oh,
person's.
validation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this can be a problem. I think women do it too,
Okay.
but I know that guys typically do it. When the spouse comes in and is talking about the stressful part of the day, we try to jump in and solve the problem for them.
That is so true.
Yeah.
I'm a problem solver. I had to learn not to do that.
Did you?
Oh, I did. I was terrible. I mean, looking back on it, I realized how terrible it was. But at the time, I was just trying to help. But I didn't realize.
You're well intended.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'm not supposed to help or fix it. Not especially at that time. I'm there to listen and validate and understand and acknowledge.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
A while back, Julie and I, one of our great therapists here, were doing co-therapy with a couple.
Right.
And we were trying to teach them about this part of the conversation. And in this particular relationship, the woman would come home from
Right.
work and would begin to have a stress-reducing conversation with her husband.
Right.
And he would jump in and offer ready-made solutions about what she was supposed to do to fix it.
Sure.
And it was very, very frustrating for her.
Right.
And then the next night she would come home and she would talk about how stressful her day was. And she would share with him what it was like. And then he would say to her things like, well, did you try what I suggested yesterday?
Exactly.
And
Yes.
then if she hadn't done that, then he would be really angry with her because I already gave you the solution yesterday.
Sure.
You didn't do it. So now you're bringing me back this same problem that you talked about yesterday, and I already told you how to fix it.
Right. Yeah, but a fix for him or for me may not be the same fix for her. It may not even fit the way that she would do things.
So we talked about this and tried to teach the importance of just being present and validating the other person's
Yes.
experience during the day. And then if she ever gets to the place where she wants his ideas, she can ask for that.
Right.
And that, but he really came from a different perspective on it.
Okay.
And I said, don't you just want to be heard? Don't you just want to have her to listen to your day? And he says, no. If I'm going to share a problem with her, it's only because I want her to give me the answer for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I don't think he really ever did understand the importance of this piece.
Yeah.
So this piece is not chintzy. It's
No,
not
it's not.
small.
Not
it's
at all.
huge.
Right.
And it needs to take place for about 20 to 30 minutes every single day, just talking about the other person's experience.
Yeah, and it was it definitely is a much heavier topic, especially for me because I did have to learn this. This is something that I did terrible. I did not do right early in our relationship.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always like hearing
It was
about your
good.
failures.
Oh, I've got a lot. I've got a lot of them. Continue to have a lot of them.
Hey, we do hope you liked our content. If you did, would you please subscribe? We would appreciate that.
Yeah, be sure and ding that bell so you're notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yeah, and share it with your friends and also put some comments down below on how you do
How
this.
do you do the stress reducing conversation?
Yeah, we would like to hear about that.
Thanks, everybody.
Until next time. So,
We could go bare chested. Shirts and skins. It's like in basketball.
no,
Shirts and
thank
skins.
you. You know, I always hated that. That was a terrible thing. Why in the world would a coach or anybody take, middle school boys and put them out there in skins? Now, granted, I was in good shape when I was in middle school and I was thin, but boy, not everybody is that way. And even if you're in great shape, you know, you're in the middle of winter, you're all pasty white, and then you've got girls walking around in the gym, and it's like, man, this is the most embarrassing thing ever.
Shirts and skins.
What a terrible thing. They couldn't do that now.
No.
There's no way in the world they can do that now.